So you guys, I wanted to show you my technique today on how I stain and dye pieces of leather. So this is actually a natural vegetable tan leather, and this is actually for a record player. I'm making this for a man named Mark Hansen. I wanted to do is sort of antique this a little bit and make it a little more retro. Typically when you dye leather, a lot of times they recommend using a dauber. Now this one's been used already, but you can see it's just kind of like a cotton ball on top of a metal post. And that's what I use a lot of times for different things. But for something like this, I want to actually have my edges sort of look darker than my other, the middle part. And so you can't really use a dauber to do that because you'll have too much of a hard line between the dark and the light. So what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna use some canvas from a pair of pants. My pair of pants here. I'm just gonna cut off the legs. I'm just kidding, these aren't my pair of pants. These are my wife's pair of pants. That's what you do when you're short of rags. So another couple of tips. You want to make sure that you probably wear a glove, because when you use this, it's going to soak through onto your fingers. So if you do care about that, you probably want to wear a plastic glove. The other thing is I'm not cutting this first. I'm actually going to stain it first and then cut it afterwards. That way I have kind of a nice, unique edge, and then I can apply my edging without having it look funny. I'm gonna open up my Fibings die and not put on my gloves because that's sort of how I roll. Okay, I'm gonna put some gloves on. This is a big area and we're just gonna do our best to kind of coat everything. But this is just going over our laser engraved design here. And like I said, I'm gonna try to keep my edges a little darker. I just think that's gonna look cooler. And the other thing, I will go back with a darker brown on the edges, but I just think that's gonna look better. So, yeah, and the more you put on there, it's just gonna start soaking it up better. You just wanna kind of be all over the place. You don't wanna go in any particular direction, because then it kind of looks fake. But this almost looks like it's natural, more natural. There it is right there, right? I mean, that looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead now and go with a little bit darker color. All right, check this out. All right, so we're just gonna go on the edges a little bit darker. And then you kind of just bring it in a little bit, right? It's like painting. You kind of just kind of blending it all, so it has a nice blend to it. So now you can kind of see, I went outside of that edge of that circle, and when we cut it, it'll be nice, but I'm gonna make sure that that edge is completely dyed so we don't have any discoloration there.